This week in On the Ball, Spain's arch rivals, Real Madrid and Barcelona, clash with all guns blazing. Meanwhile, South Korea and Japan, two of Asia's heavyweights, meet in Seoul. And River Plate play Independiente with top spot at stake in Argentina. Don't miss a minute of it. You're watching On the Ball. The Bernabeu Stadium was the place. Real Madrid and Barcelona were the teams. The hosts riding high at the top of the table. The Catalans a massive 24 points behind in an unaccustomed 12th place. 5 minutes after Ronaldo's early miss, Patrick Kluivert showed his class with an effort which Iker Casillas somehow managed to keep out. On 16 minutes, Ronaldo beat the offside trap to put Real ahead with a trademark finish after Claude Makelele hooked a pass into his path. But Barca came back strongly and levelled just after the half-hour mark when Luis Enrique tapped in from close range after Casillas was unable to hold a powerful header from Kluivert. Barcelona came under severe pressure as the game moved towards its conclusion. Roberto Bonanno made a telling save from Luis Figo in the 79th minute. The Real fans thought their side had scored in the 81st minute, but Ronaldo headed against the bar and Xavi was on the goal line to clear. Real were reduced to 10 men 2 minutes from time when Mikel Salgado was sent off after receiving his second booking for a foul on Marc Overmars. With the game in stoppage time, Zinedine Zidane nearly won it for Real. But his shot was turned away by Bonanno and the Spanish Giants shared the points. Valencia, -3 suspended internationals, Ruben Baraja, Carlos Marchena and Vicente Rodriguez, took on a Valladolid team struggling to avoid relegation. In the second half, Rufetti attempted to break the deadlock with a long shot that Bazzari did well to control. The breakthrough finally came in the 76th minute. Dragan Siric made a darting run up the right flank and picked out Antonio Lopez with a clever cross. Lopez struck hard and low, beating Santiago Canizares 1-0 to Valladolid. That was how things finished, and Valencia's defeat threatens their hopes of keeping a top 4 league spot and thus gaining a place in next season's Champions League. For Valladolid, it was the end of a 5-match run without a victory. Another packed house at the Riazor Stadium, and understandably so. Real Madrid's draw against Barcelona had opened a window of opportunity for Deportivo La Coruña. Victory against visiting Seville would leave the hosts just a point off Real at the top of the table. After Juan Valeron's 12th minute miss, Seville's Francisco Casquero also shot off target. Caesar came close in the 37th minute with a header off a Victor free kick. And 4 minutes later, Roy Mackay carved open the visitors' defence to allow Victor to open the scoring. Zoran Negas mounted a rash, high challenge on Jon Capdevila in the 43rd minute, and Deportivo were awarded a penalty. Roy Mackay made no mistake from the spot, and Deportivo were 2-0 up. Shortly after the interval, Seville's Antonito applied the required finish to a quick break and reduced the deficit to 2-1. But in the 66th minute, Seville suffered another setback. David handled the ball and was promptly sent off. Ten minutes later, Roy McKay struck again with his 24th league goal this season. Fulham manager Jean Tigana has left his job with 4 games of the English Premier League season remaining. The club announced 3 weeks ago that the 46-year-old former France international, who took over in July 2000, would be leaving at the end of the season. But it appears his departure has been brought forward. Former Fulham defender Chris Coleman has been promoted from the coaching staff to take charge of the team for the remainder of the season. Manchester United defeated Blackburn 3-1 with goals to Ruud van Nistelrooy and Paul Scholes, and they keep top spot in England with a 3-point lead over Arsenal. The Gunners enjoyed a 2-0 away victory over Middlesbrough, and it goes without saying that every point is crucial for the top 2. West Brom are headed back to Division 1, and if West Ham lose their upcoming match against Middlesbrough and Bolton win against Blackburn, Glenn Roeder's boys will be joining the Baggies. Highest scoring game of the round was Southampton's 3-2 win over Leeds. $65,000 fans packed into Seoul's World Cup Stadium, hoping for a classic encounter between 2 of Asia's football heavyweights, South Korea and Japan. Mitsuo Ugasawara's clever chip just floated past the Korean goal in the 14th minute. Just after the half hour, Lee Chun-soo flicked the ball over the Japanese defence, but he only grazed the post. Ahn Jung-won's 36-minute free kick had Seigo Natazaki scrambling across the Japanese goal. Japan almost broke the deadlock 3 minutes into the second half, when Kim Tae-young's defensive header allowed Masashi Nakayama to steal in front of the Korean keeper. 6 minutes later, back came Korea, and Lee Dong-guk's control and volley was well executed, but off target. Nakayama wasted the best chance of the match following good work from Akira Narahashi and Del-sukta Oku with 27 minutes to go. Deep into extra time, Yoichiro Nagai cut inside the Korean defence and looped over Lee Woon-jae and into the net. Replays show that Japan's winning goal was helped by Korea's Cho Bang-kuk. Trying to clear the danger, he deflected the ball to Nagai's shin at the perfect angle. And he definitely wasn't too happy about it. Vasco da Gama and Corinthians met in the Brazilian League. Vasco gave the home fans an ideal start. With less than 2 minutes gone, the ball was cleared out of their goal area by Leo Lima. Marquez then thumped the ball upfield, and Souza ran on to score after only 88 seconds. Vasco were presented with another opportunity after Anderson brought down Russo in the area and gave away a penalty. Marcelinho Carioca dispatched the spot kick and Vasco were ahead 2-0 after 15 minutes. Vasco were awarded another penalty after 28 minutes when the same players involved in the first incident, Anderson and Russo, clashed again. This time, Corinthians keeper Donny pulled off an excellent save to deny Carioca. Corinthians claimed a penalty in the 44th minute when Wellington Paulo fouled Fabio Luciano following a free kick. Rogerio scored from the spot kick to give Corinthians some hope of salvaging a point. 6 minutes after the interval, Kleber equalised and the match finished in a 2-2 draw. Syria club Lazio raised around $8,000 for charity by staging a benefit match between teams blended from their male and female senior squads. The mixed side, led by men's coach Roberto Mancini, defeated the one helmed by women's coach Nino Nosdio 6-3. Lazio's male stars knew that underestimating their female counterparts would be a mistake, and the 1,500 fans who watched the match had no complaints about the standard of play. Brazil's Santos hosted Ecuador's El Nacional in the Libertadores Cup. Santos is safely through to the second round, but El Nacional needed to win and needed América de Cali to lose their fixture to keep their hopes alive. But it was Santos with the first chance 8 minutes in. El Nacional were defending hard, but Santos achieved the breakthrough after 18 minutes. Ricardo Oliveira's strike gave the home side a 1-0 lead. On the half-hour mark, El Nacional were awarded a set piece in prime position, but Juan Burbano failed to capitalise. 8 minutes later, Santos came close to extending their lead. However, the angle was just a bit too tight for Fabiano. On the stroke of half-time, El Nacional's Edison Mendes fired a shot from way outside the area that hit the far post. But a great overhead kick from Kibachala gave the visitors the equaliser in the 57th minute. With 3 minutes of full time remaining, some clever play in the visitors' half by the Santos forwards left Cardoso with just the goalkeeper to beat. But his shot was safely collected by Sanchez. Cardoso came close again in the second minute of extra time. But the 1-1 draw makes little difference to the fortunes of El Nacional. When Ajax's Zlatan Ibrahimovic broke clear of the Breda defence during the opening exchanges of their Dutch League fixture, it looked like Ajax would take an early lead. However, what followed must be a contender for the dive of the season. But Ajax's top scorer didn't get booked. In the 10th minute, though, Ibrahimovic showed why AS Roma are reportedly planning a $13 million bid for him. A cleverly angled drive hit the near post with Gabor Babos beaten. After 43 minutes, Andy van der Meede played a short corner to Wesley Sneijder, who curled a shot past Babos into the top corner. After the break, Breda's Ali Bousabon played in Jurgen Collin, and his chip was met by Saba Fayer's diving header. But Christian Kevu saved on the goal line. Then Orlando Ingelaar thought he'd drawn his side level with a fierce drive, but Bogdan Lamont parried the ball over the crossbar. Ajax doubled their lead when Sneijder's defence-splitting pass released van der Meede. He broke the offside trap with ease before firing past the helpless Babos. 2-0 in the 75th minute. 9 minutes later, van der Meede rounded Babos and sealed a 3-0 win for Ajax. PSV Eindhoven faced Twente Enschede, hoping to bounce back after their shock 2-1 exit from the semi-finals of the Dutch Cup at the hands of Utrecht. PSV struggled early. Twente's stubborn resistance was broken in the 33rd minute. Keeper Sander Boschke failed to collect the cross from Johan Vogel, and Jan Vennegoor of Hesselink hooked over from a prone position. PSV's Arjen Robben was brought down on the edge of the area by Simon Simmer, and the referee awarded a spot kick. Mattia Kesman was on target, and PSV were heading for their 23rd league victory. Not long after, Kesman showed great determination to fend off defenders and unleash a shot which crashed against the bar. Boschke made up for his first half error with a top-class flying save to deny Mark van Bommel's 25-metre drive. Twente rarely threatened for the rest of the match, and PSV wound up comfortable 2-0 victors. After round 29 of the Bundesliga season, Bayern Munich remained pretty much unassailable with 63 points. However, they did suffer an away loss to Borussia Dortmund thanks to a 61st minute penalty from Marcio Amoroso. Second-placed Stuttgart found themselves on the wrong end of a 3-1 scoreline against 13th-placed Bochum, underlining the essential competitiveness of the Bundesliga. Even at this stage, only Cottbus looks a relegation certainty, sitting bottom of the table with 24 points. The President Perron Stadium in Avellaneda was packed for one of the most high-profile games of the 2003 Clausura Championship. Racing versus Boca Juniors matched two of Argentina's most fanatically supported clubs. After 10 minutes, Boca's Mariano Gonzalez pulled the ball back across the penalty area, and Matthias Donnet opened Boca's account. Donnet was proving to be a menace, and only a fingertip save by Gustavo Campagnolo prevented the 22-year-old from doubling his side's lead soon afterwards. Racing responded before half-time when Luis Fernando Reda's cross curled onto the top of the crossbar from a short corner and rebounded to safety. Racing received the boost when Raul Cassini was sent off for a late tackle on Claudio Obeda as the referee brandished the red card for 2 bookable offences. In a double blow, Cassini injured himself in the process. Boca's Juan Rodriguez brought down Carlos Estevez in the area, but the referee waved away claims for a penalty. The replay shows that it should have been a spot kick, but the final whistle sounded soon after, and Racing suffered only their 2nd defeat this year in all competitions. Another massive crowd packed the Monumental Stadium in Buenos Aires to see River Plate versus Independiente. After just 14 minutes, Federico Insua got the better of a sluggish Mas Lequi in the River defence, and Daniel Montenegro's header gave Independiente the lead. Just before the interval, Lionel Rios put Andres Silveira clean through on goal, but the normally lethal striker pushed his shot wide. After the break, Montenegro had a golden opportunity for his 2nd goal, only for Jose Maria Buljabasic to save with his legs. On 63 minutes, Rios pulled back Ariel Garce, and the Independiente midfielder ought to have accepted the yellow card. But he recklessly knocked it from the referee's hand and was shown red. The Independiente players protested in vain, and it only took River 3 minutes to make their numerical advantage count. Esteban Fuate's goal levelled the scores. As the match moved into the final 6 minutes, a Daniel Ludia cross was turned into his own net by Milito, and River went on to win 2-1. And finally, it seems that former England star Paul Gascoigne might be up to his old tricks again. Officials at Gansu Tianma, his new club in China, said they were trying to track him down after hearing reports that he checked himself into a rehabilitation clinic in the United States. The club's general manager said he'd given Gaza a holiday to allow him time to sort out some private business, and claimed he'd be back in a few days. But British newspapers reported that Gascoigne had checked into a rehab clinic. The 35-year-old has a 1-year contract as player-coach with Gansu Tianma. That's all from us right now, but until next week, make sure you stay on the ball.